It's time for the Racing Report, brought to you by CanTorque. What's the best way to beat the tariffs? Well, it's buy Canadian. CanTorque's products are not only made in Canada, but they're made right here in Edmonton. Save money, support Canada at CanTorque.com. And we got a double header here in studio today as Colin Livingston joins us as always. And also we have Adam Ross, one of the voices of Canadian NASCAR in studio. Fellas, how you doing?
It's good to be here.
Great. Thanks for having me.
Hey, I appreciate it. So let's start with Livingston. We talked to you a lot. So we'll start with Adam here for a second. I guess just kind of we had the two races here on the Western Tour in Saskatoon, and then of course last weekend in Wetaskiwin. And fair to say, and you call a lot of the races, that there seems to be like a real on track rivalry that's going on right now. And has it gone too far? The guys seem to be almost taking each other out, or do you think that they overreacted with the penalty?
Boy, there's a lot going on right there.
Yeah.
Did they go too far? No, that's what we're here for. It's a passionate sport.
Okay.
Those drivers respect each other like crazy. They just don't like each other. And that's fantastic because they're still both playing the same game.
Yeah.
Still both out there in the same performance. And the officials that was historic what happened last night. That is precedent setting to take a car that crossed the finish line first.
Yeah, and just for anybody listening to Marc-Antoine Cameron, won.
Yes, he crossed the line first. He came to victory lane like you would normally do, and I was close enough to hear the official say, "Go to the back stretch. The finish is under review. You're not getting the checkered flag. We'll let you know." Never seen this before. It's what we do on championship night. The champion waits on the backstretch while we deal with the winner of the race.
Yeah.
Never seen it in the course of a regular race. And they made the decision that what Marc-Antoine Cameron did cross the line. He was on probation from Saturday night. I applaud the decision. It was gutsy.
Now he gets a 6-point penalty for intentional contact under caution. And then that was on Wednesday, right? When he got that. So what's a 6-point? What is it? What's that penalty? What does that mean? Other than losing like the race, what does it mean?
6 points is important. When you're in a tight battle, our schedule is only a dozen races long.
So it's just points in the overall standings? Okay.
But just to be clear, that happened at Wetaskiwin on Saturday.
Yeah.
So he
lost the race, because how many points do you get for first?
No, on Saturday he won the race.
Yeah.
But it was a similar situation between he and the 74 that they were making a lot of contact. They spun as they were about to come to the white flag. Totally, from our perspective, that was the moment of sheer chaos, but that's a different story. They managed to drive away. We had to reset everything. Cars were way out of position, including ours, because we didn't really know what was going on. On the final start, they came around, took the checkered flag, or pardon me, when we were under caution, Cameron was really upset with Lacroix because there was a moment that kind of caused the spin. Cameron, as racing terminology, he left the door open. He came in a little bit wide and went a little bit high. Lacroix stuck his nose in and, very aware that depending on who you are, you're going to see this incident very differently. But Lacroix got his nose in, which was a bit ambitious. Cameron came back down and the two of them spun. Cameron was unhappy with this. We're under caution rolling around. He came up and drilled the back, took him out on the inside, hit him about 4 or 5 times under caution. That's what he ended up getting the penalty for, but it was retroactive. So we take the green, come around, take the white, everything's over. There was a bit of incidental contact, wasn't a big deal, but even in victory lane, they were putting hands on each other.
Yeah, well, I'm sure they're not buying each other a Christmas present right now. But for Cameron, so he drops from winning. Like, how many points would he have gotten to win?
He'll lose his bonus points. So it's really a point per position, but you get a few bonus points for winning. So he probably lost 7 points going from first to fourth.
Plus the 6 he lost. So that's 13 points basically in the span of 4 days.
Yeah. I mean, he added a bunch of points because he had He got
No, but I'm just saying
yeah,
that's what he lost, though,
Yep.
was 13 points.
essentially.
Right. So that's pretty significant in a 2-race stretch.
Right. And it's so challenging to wrap your head around because we're going to go to Calabogie next and then Trois-Rivières, Quebec. If the same thing happens in Trois-Rivières and they penalize him, he's not going to 4th spot. He'll go back to about 18th spot.
Yeah, because
there'll be so many more cars. You go to the back end of the lead lap, there was only 4 cars left on the lead lap because it had been a dominant performance.
Right.
So the punishment doesn't exactly fit the crime depending on where it happens.
Okay.
But I still think they had to do it. I still think it was a good call.
Okay. And then now, if you look at kind of overall, these two, like Lacroix and Cameron, it's in sports, it happens all the time. This one, yeah, we can say they respect each other, but you're almost getting to fisticuffs. Do you expect this to carry over the rest of the year?
Yes.
Yeah.
100%. Because these guys, they're very good racers. Like, they're in great equipment. They absolutely spend at the highest level. They've got great crew. They've got very, very experienced crew chiefs. And they, aside from being great drivers, they've got great equipment. They also have zero compromise. They're, the cliche is checkers or wreckers. This is how they carry themselves. I mean, Kevin, when he first came into the series, I remember talking to him. We were sitting at Kawartha on a Thursday before the race, and I said, look, you're really quick. This is just as he was coming in, and I had no idea what kind of monster could potentially be lurking beneath the sea. But I said, look, you're really quick. You maybe just need to get a little bit more aggressive in certain situations because you're kind of running in and backing out, and like, you kind of need to stick it. Well, here we are like 10 years later, and now it's gone over the top. But I think Kevin's he's very aggressive, but I think he's got a lot more awareness for the championship and kind of big picture racing. He's not going to back down from a fight, but he's also not always going to start one where it seems like Cameron right now he's really driving pissed off. And I'm not really sure why, but every little thing with Cameron right now seems to light the fuse and to kind of release
It's on tilt.
Yeah. And they're going to be racing together a bunch because, again, like Adam said, we're going to Calabogie in just over a week and then GP3R. So Calabogie's a new track for everyone. There was a test a couple weeks ago. We've never raced there. The surface is very, very abrasive. So that's also going to lead to a bunch of cars sliding around, people trying to save their tires. And GP3R is the biggest race we have on the calendar. This is the one that everyone, especially if you're, a Quebecois driver, this is the one that they all want to win. And, there's not a lot of give, and there's not a lot of patience when it comes to, how hungry some of these guys are.
Well, that makes it great. And for anybody who's interested, I would definitely recommend doing it. Now, you've been obviously covering this for a long time, Adam. And have you seen this intense of a rivalry between two guys?
Yeah, for years. So the very first year that NASCAR went to the Grand Prix to Trois-Rivières, 2007, Andrew Ranger finished on top of Kerry Mix, one or the other, one car on top of the other. Security was needed to conduct the podium. We've always had good rivalries. The last number of years, we've had a lot of finesse drivers. Alex LeBay, Trayton Lapsovich, Kyle Steckley, different drivers when they come and they're really good. Scott Steckley prior to that. They're finesse drivers. These two are pit bulls. Cameron's a pit bull. Kevin Lacroix is a pit bull and a showman. He's there for the entertainment. They were booing him in Victory Lane last night, and he appreciated it because he knows the worst thing you can have from a crowd is silence.
Yes.
Whether they're cheering or whether they're booing, as long as they're loud.
Yes, that means they're engaged, right?
100%. And it's fun. So have we had it before? Yes. This is cool because the drivers are kind of embracing it in a way they never have.
And the Wetaskiwin race, just to recap it, because it's a smaller track in Wetaskiwin, and there's which leads to a lot more excitement overall. And obviously, in this case, there were some tempers that were heightened a little bit. But what did you make of the race this year in Wetaskiwin?
It's one of the best races we've ever had there. There was action. So 300 laps. Our races are all stories. Right, from start to finish, you watch things that go on, and you've got to keep track of who's angry with who and where the action is. there was about 30 laps, 40 laps where things settled down. But for the other 260, 270 laps, there's positions being contested. It was a great show. And again, the crowd was into it. When the crowd's into it, I don't know if the drivers can feel it or if you guys can feel it in the spotters stand, but the atmosphere was awesome. It makes a difference to me.
Could you feel it, Colin? And how was it working with Kennington?
I can still feel it. It was Saturday was awesome. Yeah, being part of the DJK racing program was really cool. I mean, we've known DJ for a lot of years. Some of Alex's first races when he started coming back and doing, GP3R, we raced with DJ. So we've known him for, 15 years. They put together really good cars. My driver was a kid named Ryan Vargas, an American, lives in the LA area. Just really, really passionate racer. He's, he's run Xfinity, he's run trucks, he's run in Europe. So the whole thing was just, great. Kind of a whirlwind, coming in, to people you don't really know, trying to get their language and what they're looking for. But I want to take a quick half step back because it is no secret over the years, I've been fairly critical of NASCAR, more to my US counterparts than what we have in Canada. I always try and make sure I differentiate. That being said, NASCAR has made two very, very good decisions in the last week. Decision number one, we haven't talked about it. What they tried at the last oval race before the Western Swing at Riverside was what are called live pit stops. We've gone away from live pit stops in a lot of ways because it costs teams a lot to bring extra personnel out, because generally when you need to change two tires, you've got to have almost 5 people.
Yes.
You need tire carriers, you need tire changers, and you need a jack person. The last couple of years, we can operate with a much smaller crew. It's less flights, less hotel, less, per diem. But they've tried to do reintroduce this live pit stop idea. And at Riverside is maybe the one track aside from Delaware that we could probably do this. But the rules under the live pit stop were really ambiguous. They were really strange that you could only do one thing at a time per stop. So if you came in, you could change one tire. So you pick the tire you want to change.
What?
Yep. And you change that tire. You have to go back out, cycle back around, change another tire, go back out, come back around. Now, if you want to put fuel in, that was how you had to do it. And it's
Wow, that's asinine. I didn't even know that was a thing.
I had never heard of it like this either, because generally we do live pit stops at Canadian Tire at Mosport. We can come in, change left sides or right sides. You're only allowed to change 2 tires per stop, which in itself is still a little bit crazy. You go out with one side of your car, fresh rubber, the other not, when you're making both turns. But anyway, at a track like Wetaskiwin, this is suicide. Like, we had a fairly small car count, and even still, the pit road at Wetaskiwin is really small. So as you're trying to get in, get around other cars, get your car, it was just like super potential for disaster. They told us in our drivers meeting, which was about an hour before the race, there's no way we're going to change. This is the way we're doing it. We'll talk about making changes for Saskatoon. And before we went out to run the race, they circled a bulletin to say, hey, we've listened to what you guys say. We agree. We're going to a break race. So they took the Wetaskiwin 300 laps. We did a break at lap 150, had a 5-minute break. So kudos to NASCAR for that. And I can't put into words how happy I am to see that they finally started to penalize this aggressive behavior, these last lap bonsai moves that, the driver in front can't do anything to defend. You could kind of wave them by, but when you're in the last 2 corners or you're on the last lap of a road course, you wave the guy by, you've lost. You try and fight for position, they drive into you, you've lost, and maybe destroyed your car or got hurt. I'm glad that they finally established, like we've said for years here, until sanctioning bodies say to drivers, that move is unacceptable, people will keep doing it, and they keep pushing the boundaries. So, this, in my opinion, was a really, really good week for NASCAR.
All right. I didn't, that live thing, 1 tire at a time, that might be the worst thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Are you serious? Like, you might as well just, and well, I guess it's even for everybody, but still, that, like, they just, no one wants to watch pit stops that much. Hey, why are they going back in the pits? Now they're changing the left front. Oh, now let's watch them change the right front. Like, are you kidding me? It's like offside review in the NHL. Terrible.
Well, I knew it was a really, really bad idea when the idea was, broached during our drivers meeting, and NASCAR basically said, no, we can't make a change this close to the race. We've decided this is the way it is. And one of the guys, I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, said, who here is in favor of doing a brake race? And every single person there put both of their arms up. Like the only thing we agreed on as a group that whole week was, guys, this is just ridiculous. Like, we don't have the personnel. It's just dangerous. It's expensive if we have to start going down this road. And, kudos to NASCAR for listening to concerns.
Now let's quickly get over F1 still in their kind of summer break. They're not back for another 10 days, but IndyCar, it's the championship seems all but over. Colin, Alex Palou won again, finishing 5th and 1st on the weekend, but they're into Toronto, the Canadian spot. And I'll get your thoughts on that. And Adam, I know you're a huge racing guy. I want you to chime in on IndyCar, but give me your thoughts on what to expect here. And obviously it's an exciting track, but the championship is pretty much locked up.
Championship is all but done. I didn't take a look. We just drove straight back from Saskatoon. I think there's 5 races left. Palou has like 130 point lead, almost a 3-race buffer. So that, that's essentially a fait accompli. Toronto was a weird track because I remember it more from what we've done in NASCAR than the IndyCar side of things, having, worked as a spotter and a crew guy. And we put like, is it Kevin Green? The promoter of the race, it used to be Green Savary, came to us after 1 year that we won. He's like, you guys put on a better show than IndyCar does. He's like, you guys were awesome out there. The fans loved it. And we always raced on Friday, which is the free day there. IndyCar, they're quite a bit bigger. Like, they're wider cars, and their braking zone is so short.
Yes.
Like, so there's a lot of potential for contact, especially into turn 1, into turn 3 off of Lakeshore Boulevard. Hopefully,
was that where Alex and Tracy almost came to blows because of it? Was it in that corner?
No, that was San Jose.
Oh, San Jose. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Alex ended up upside down with Danica a couple in IndyCar.
Okay.
Yeah. That wasn't fun. I have no more cars, mate. That was San Jose. There's been a lot of legendary accidents because when they come down that exhibition straightaway, I mean, they're hitting 180 miles an hour and they slow down to, it's like 65, 70 going into turn 1. I've stood at the fence in between turn 1 and turn 2, and you watch this on TV and it looks like they're just cruising.
Yeah.
But they accelerate, like they're probably back up to like 90, 100 miles an hour. And I was at this fence and these guys were coming. I mean, they weren't 3 feet away. It's the closest I've come to losing bowel control while watching a race car because there's so much air that comes off. They're so loud when you're that close, and they are going so fast. It's the closest appreciation I've had while watching an IndyCar to how fast 80 miles an hour, 90, 100 miles an hour looks like, and then all of a sudden one of the officials saw that I was standing there. He's like, hey, you can't do that. I'm like, I already did. I'm happy. Thanks, man.
So Adam, do you obviously with your role, do you watch a lot of do you watch open wheel racing as much as you watch that? Yeah.
Yeah. I love what IndyCar's doing. So to me, the points don't matter. I'm more about the show. I love what they're doing with their TV package, with their marketing and their promotion. They're getting bigger crowds.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of entertainment right now that's growing and getting bigger crowds. So whatever the people at IndyCar have done, they've done a good job, especially with a cast of characters. It's tough to promote a foreign cast of characters in the United States. They have plenty of Americans, but really they've taken a product and made it a must-see event everywhere they've gone.
No, and that's very well said, because in the States they're very much nationalistic, and that's okay. But it's hard at times for them to promote other ones. And so I look at IndyCar and I do and I would agree. Like Colin and I have talked lots about this. I still think early in the year they could benefit from not having weeks off when F1 is silent. That's when they should probably capitalize, especially as F1 tries to make more of a footprint into the United States. But IndyCar, I think, has really the last few years they've made a lot more good decisions than bad decisions for their league.
I think that's fair to say, for sure.
Yeah. Well, fellas, what's coming up next in NASCAR Canada?
We're off to Calabogie. That's next weekend, so 10 days from now, just outside of Ottawa. And then I think 2 weeks after that, we're in GP3R.
Yeah, that's the big race. That's like that's the big one.
Yeah.
And is that one, will that be televised after?
We don't know until basically the week of. They're all televised on Rev TV.
Yeah.
Some of the races, like Edmonton, Saskatoon, were actually live streamed on their YouTube channel. So GP3R will definitely be live on RDS. So for Quebec people, I'd be blown away if that one wasn't streamed, because it's easily the granddaddy.
It's the one to watch, and it'll be the one to watch to see if Laquan Cameron, with the big race of the year, all of a sudden.
I hear good things about this Tagliani guy, though, so I think he might be.
Do you think he'll get in the mix? Like start throwing?
He doesn't.
No.
Well, Alex has a reputation. He doesn't race like that. Like, we'll maybe make contact with someone. I've never, and I've got one guy who always argues with me, but he's 100% wrong. I've never seen Alex make a move to take another car out, to do damage to somebody. There's, times where you maybe make a move, somebody closes the door, you got something you want to say, and I have a suspicion I know what you're going to talk about.
Are you thinking for Alex? What Alex has never made a move to take someone out.
Correct.
So that's his intent.
He's never made the intentional move to take somebody out. I'll stand by that. Do you have an example?
I'm terrible at that, which is why I'm no good at fighting with my significant other when I've had a significant other, because I'm not good with dates and times. But I know you did not want Alex Tagliani behind you for a number of years on a road course. He made very questionable decisions. Did he want to take anybody out? No. He made really poor stock car decisions in his first couple of years, which was a lot of fun for me because it gave me a great opportunity to talk about it. Do I think he tried to take anyone out? Never. I don't think I've ever seen it and thought, but I have seen him do things and thought that was not wise.
Questionable. Like, I defy you to name a racing driver in the entire world that's never made a questionable decision.
Oh yeah. No, 100%. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
If we all make good choices, in talk radio, if everyone makes good choices, you got nothing to talk about.
If you're the sports is based on mistakes, and you know what? Obviously, there's some mistakes that you make that the other is in auto racing. A mistake that I make can cost other guys a chance of success. That's 100%. Where it's a little bit different. Where in other sports, if you make a mistake, it usually ends up in the back of your net, or it's a turnover, or it's an error, whatever it is in the different sport. But in auto racing, when you make a mistake, it does impact the other guy a lot of times, because if you're being too aggressive at the wrong time, then boom, now they're out of the race. And that's part of it. That's what makes it good. But I'm sure that's what makes it maybe more frustrating, is because a lot of times you could be doing everything right, and then a guy takes you out and you're like, what the? Like, I could see how that'd be frustrating. Like when you make a mistake and you know what, you throw a pizza up the middle in hockey, well, you go to the bench and you can't really blame the other team for intercepting it and scoring.
Yeah.
Right. But in racing, I could see how I think it'd be harder to stay calmer in racing, because there's lots of chaos that's outside of your control.
You have no break.
Yeah.
It's not like you can go back to the huddle and take 10 seconds and cool off, or go back to the bench and wait 3 minutes for your next shift. You are still have to hit your mark. You still have to keep doing what it was you were doing while stewing.
Like, think of road rage right now. People that are driving, they're listening to the show right now, whether you're on the Henday, you're on the White Mud, you're on a street, and sometimes it's Serenity now, and there's somebody beside you, and you've seen road rage. Most people have sadly been involved in it on one end or the other. Then you put it in a car where, like, you're supposed to be racing, and you're supposed to go fast, and there's all sorts of testosterone and, well, I guess even estrogen at times, depending on who's driving. But it gets elevated. So I think that's what makes it entertaining. And that's why the series for the next two races, just because of what's happened with Cameron and Lacroix, it's kind of like must-watch TV right now.
Couldn't be better.
And we're going to have more cars in 2 weeks, and we're going to have way more cars. They're talking about a car count of 37 at GP3R. Now, out of the 37, no disrespect intended, 15 of them
shouldn't be there,
don't belong on the track. Yeah. Like, they want to be part of the show. They want to get in front, and like from an advertising and marketing standpoint, yes. but there's going to be a lot of drivers out there that are 3, 5, 8, 10 seconds a lap off the pace with no hope of doing anything but getting in the way. If you want to talk about the real best example of road rage, I got to talk about leaving Saskatoon during Ag Fair, trying to get out of that godforsaken city when it's nothing but farmers and hillbillies, and everybody decides that the left lane, because we need to exit in 30 kilometers, we're just going to post it here in 110 zone doing 80 kilometers an hour side by side with another guy. I understand some of the driver rage because yeah, I'm fortunate we didn't have a recorder in the car.
Oh, I bet. Fellas, thanks so much for coming in. Drive safe, and we'll talk to you again.
Thanks so much.
See you next week.